So, speaking of makeshift tools.
That's not how this is supposed to go at all. You are a master at destroying an opening. It's amazing. You're almost undefeated. You're like the Ivan Drago of fucking crushing the beginning of a show. It's quite it's quite impressive.
If the open dies, then it dies. That's what happens. All right, so let me see if I get this straight.
Yeah.
So, some adventurous rich people took a submarine down to see the Titanic. These rich people might die. They're lost. Speaking of makeshift tools.
No!
Nope. That's the opposite of how that's supposed to work.
Okay. I knew I should have just gone over all of this in detail with you. It's so fascinating. No, okay, here we go. All right, folks at home, just follow along here. Right. So I'm fresh off of my Yogi Bear Jellystone National Park adventure with my son, and so I was cracking up last night because Marie and I were sitting around the fire because she sent me a text message. She's like, here's a reminder for your little show. So, because she speaks like Scarface, obviously. No, not at all. So, the first night we're out there, I build this nice, raging, roaring campfire. My brother had an oak tree fall down. It's nice and seasoned. Oak burns forever, hot as shit. But I forgot to bring a good, long, pokey, flip boards and things around stick. You know what I'm saying? So I had to use like this really stubby piece of wood to try to maneuver everything. Because if you're building a nice campfire, you gotta. It's like an erector set every 20 minutes. You want to get that thing raging and roaring again. You gotta flip everything around and get the air flowing. So I didn't have a stick. So I told Maria the next day. I said, listen, if we're making another campfire tonight, I'm gonna need a little longer stick than that. So keep your eyes out. Well, apparently they manicure the shit out of this campground. There are no sticks longer than your forearm anywhere to be found until we get to the pool, and leaning up against the wall is a really long stick. And she goes, hey, here's the stick. And I go, whoa, we can't take that stick. She's like, why? I said, that's probably another man's fire stick that he found in the woods, and if we take it, I'm the asshole. Because if I found that stick and wanted to get in the pool, I too would lean it up against the pool wall and wait until I was done with my swimming adventure to then take the stick home with me. I said, we're going to hang out for a while, and if that stick's still there, we're taking it with us. But for now, not the right time. I got that goddamn stick, though. Am I wrong for thinking I was stealing another man's tool?
I don't think so. That sounds rational. I mean,
Thank you.
Sounds totally logical.
Yeah, you did the proper. It's kind of like the lost and found. You know, how long does something have to be lost and lost and found for it to be fair game?
But the whole conversation that Marie and I had was like, you're an idiot. This is a stick. Take it. I said, no, it's only a stick to you because you don't understand the functionality of this stick. If I found that stick and some other guy's dumb wife said, it's just a stick, let's take it with us, I would hunt them down in the middle of the night with my very low-level fire because I can't flip any logs, and I would murder them in the darkness and smoke. That's how that would go down.
I would throw embers in their face because I don't have fire because they took my stick.
But they would only gently blister their face because I wasn't able to get my fire hot enough to actually scold them.
Second-degree burns, probably. So when the fire was all done, did you like crack it across your knee, the stick, and go, I must break you? That's from Rocky.
God damn it.
No, this fire was so hot that by the time I was done with that fire last night, it was only about like a foot and a half long. And then I said, I was drunk as shit, and I said, thank you, fine stick. I appreciate your service. And then I threw it in and then watched it go up in flames.
Such a Samaritan. Look at you, up the last Boy Scout. You know?
And I was hiding the evidence.
I was at it was a shindig, a rest in peace Frostburg party. Yeah, and we created the camp area that I was at had created a small fire, and rather than at some point just too drunk and too dark, not enough light out to go out stick hunting or log hunting or anything that was dry, we just broke down a panel of it was like a wooden fence. It was one of like a big like 1x4, but it's probably 15 feet long. Just like busted the nails out. And then we would just pick it up and drag it like every so often.
You just basically took a decking board and just like almost like a I don't know, like a wooden, what's that thing with the sand you turn upside down? Hourglass. Just let it burn its way through.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and then we just had someone would get some oven mitts, some makeshift oven mitts, and grab the burn end. And
Wait, what are the makeshift oven mitts?
I don't know, a bunch of grass and poop or something. I don't remember. This is over 20 years ago, man. I was just happy. It was a full lacquer too. You could smell that at 19. I was like, yeah, this smells a little. Maybe it's like minty. It's like a minty board or something.
You should huff it.
Stand closer. It's nice and warm. Ooh, God.
Nice green flame.
Yeah. Why do my hands feel oily?
Now, Wes. Now do it.
All right. So let me see if I get this straight. Rocky 3 was Mr. T, and Rocky 4 was Dolph Lundgren, a.k.a. Ivan Drago. Got it. All right. So let me see if I get this straight. Some rich adventurers.
He missed the line.
Speaking of makeshift tools. Good one. Now I get it.
I even mumbled it earlier to see if he would just hear it and subconsciously be like, "Oh, it's time."
When you guys are talking, the only thing that's going through my head is meow, 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 meow. So,
that's appropriate. That's fine.
Speaking of makeshift tools.
Jesus Christ. These, like my stick. We got to harken back so they remember.
Guy was going swimming, that's the bridge to these guys that are deep in the ocean, right? I don't know. You tell me how you want me to lead into this. You were the one who posted it, and then you've had this like metaphorical hard on all day.
I should have just did it. I was going to do it.
I think what frustrates me the most is I felt like I was really onto something with my my temperament about this stick and my moral compass behind it, and I really wanted that to lead into you just simply going like, well, speaking of makeshift tools, what about this makeshift submarine that some asshole just tried to take down to the bottom of the fucking ocean to see the Titanic? What about that?
All right,
and then
we're going to get to that in here in about 30 seconds. Did I not say I was going to lead in with, so guys, take a submarine down to the ocean, to the bottom of the ocean to look at the Titanic. Guys are lost. That's the Cliff Notes version, right? Fill me in. And you're like, yep, sounds good. Makeshift tools, throw that in there. Be sure. I'm like, all right. So I got the timing wrong. But now I'm supposed to talk about makeshift submarines. I'm supposed to give you the full headline. I'm supposed to be Wolf Blitzer here, or Blitz Wolfer, or whatever his name is.
It's Blitz Wolfer.
Yeah, that'd be a hell of a defense. Like, all right, guys, I think they're going to do running an option, so we're going to do the Blitz Wolfer.
All right, we gotta focus. Oh shit!
So wait a minute, hold on. No, wait, I gotta figure this out though. Does that mean like the middle linebacker? He's like the lone wolf, and he stays behind and picks up the garbage.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not a defensive coordinator. I've never thrown on the pads in my entire life. I'm just throwing out the names. Design it how you want. Okay, so we're kind of
middle class holes, everybody.
Middle class holes, everyone. Drago, Clubber Lang, and Chubbs Peterson. Why can't I?
Also, some rich folks are dying in a submarine going to the Titanic under the Atlantic. That's a thing that happens.
That's correct, and we need to be timeline wise here. We are recording a day early, so by the time you folks hear this, they may have died due to lack of oxygen.
Probably be dead.
Yeah. They theorize what they had how many hours worth of oxygen roughly?
They had 96 to start with, and I think they're down to at this point. Let me check my watch. They're down to about 9.
I found interesting that a buddy of mine on Facebook posted. He was like, I've been thinking all day about how people who would pay $250,000 to go down in essentially a Toyota Sienna that was waterproofed to see the Titanic. They're very rich people, and rich people's moral compass isn't to help others mostly. And so I could see 6 people just sitting in a fucking tiny submarine waiting to die, looking at each other, wondering how much oxygen they would have if it was just them in the submarine.
Yeah.
You know what
Well,
I'm saying? Like,
they did a they asked the question, if someone's dead on there, would it conserve oxygen? The answer is no. Apparently, a decomposing body, even in its
it's as
infant
much
stage,
oxygen.
or more. So there's that.
Yeah, because of all that bacteria decomposing. Yeah, that fucking
I
makes
always,
perfect sense, actually.
even in death, you're selfish.
Or
Imagine
that's
that.
just made up by some guy that's like, fuck, man, we need to. I don't want to be the one that's conserving the oxygen for you guys. So I'm going to make up this bullshit story about decomposing bodies.
So yeah, who was the celebrity, the wealthy celebrity that was? I don't necessarily know if he invented it, but his team of engineers invented the boat car.
The boat car?
The car that you can drive off of you drive into a dock into the water and then it becomes a boat.
No, I don't know that one. I just know that that's been around for since
Water car.
the
Well,
50s
yeah,
or something like that.
yeah, but about 10 years ago, a billionaire I designed one and was whipping around in it. God, the guy has like Ric Flair hair. That isn't what made him rich. He used his riches to design this. I'm trying
Richard
to remember the
Branson?
company. It was
It's
Branson.
probably Richard Branson.
It was Branson. Anyway, like if you would, I would be a little uneasy going into say, I don't know, the Chesapeake Bay from some dock here in Baltimore in that car. I'd be like, okay. Can you imagine? Like, all right, we're gonna get dropped off of a submarine. We're gonna go down. What is that? Like, I don't even know what the depths are.
It's a long way. It's a lot.
It takes 6 hours just to descend to the Titanic.
Yeah, it's so deep. Like it's twice as deep as a diver can dive naturally, just scuba. At least.
The wreck of the Titanic lies at a depth of about 12,500 feet.
Holy shit! An experienced scuba diver can only go down about 100 meters.
So you're talking about 2.5 miles ish.
This is
2.25
meters, if you want it. 370 nautical miles. Yeah, that's all I got for you.
Yeah, man. No, and this reporter has all this footage from when he was supposed to go down in this thing like 2 years ago, but they had to scrub it, and so he didn't go. And yeah, the guy's using like a knockoff Xbox controller. It's of course wireless and all that stuff. I don't really have a whole lot of things. Look, bottom line is the submarine worked. This is not their first adventure. You know what I mean? Like it's been used multiple times, and we're here now.
Yeah, but I've also heard that multiple times it's come back before it's gotten anywhere close to the Titanic.
So you would think that these billionaires that want to take these rides would be like, hey, Holmes, like rather than me like pay for this trip, why don't I pay to fucking like put a few extra welds in that fucker before we take her down?
Yeah, so you're saying there has to be some sacrifices to
because that guy is
the
not
ships
using any of that $1 million to fucking secure the ship. That's going right into a bank account.
Well, he said it does.
Cayman Islands.
He said they've made no money because, like, it takes a shit ton of money in fuel just they have to rent the giant boat that takes the submarine out to the location. Mm-hmm. Then he had to build that thing, and so he's like, they've been breaking even for like years. And so next year was supposed to be the big year. They're supposed to start making other money, and now, even if they make it back alive, I have a feeling. I don't know that not a lot of folks are going to be signing up for Titanic tickets next season.
Yeah, I've seen Jurassic Park. I didn't want to go there after that movie. I'll tell you that. And T-Rex is running rampant.
There's this like I've seen multiple times now on multiple platforms like a theory about like the little shitty submarine is stuck like in the wreckage of the Titanic.
You think they got a little over ambitious and
that would be fucking equally hilarious and like almost tragic. You were like, I gotta see more because like if I was down there, I'd be like, yo, go up in that little fucking crevice, bud. I'm trying to see what that is.
Yeah,
what is that? Are those jewels? Whose jewels are those? Go look up. We're dead now. Like, sorry, guys.
There's got to be bodies in there, man. And I have a feeling if you get that close, like there's sand crabs like crawling out of an eye socket.
It's been like 100. There's bones. It's been like 100. Well, I don't know. It's cold down there too. It could preserve them if they didn't get ate up.
I think there's still a fair amount of stuff. I think there's areas that they can't get to safely. But you said jewels. You could be like, oh nope, no jewels, just nude pictures of Kate Winslet. Keep going. Nude pictures.
Weird. This is a nude sketch of Kate Winslet. She wasn't even alive then.
Do you think it might get? Have you guys heard that people do just walk past dead bodies at
Everest?
Oh,
Everest,
at Everest?
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
I saw one the other day that was wild.
I saw one he was really falling, just randomly falling off the side of the cliff. Well, it's not even a cliff; it's just
I saw two, but I went down a fucking Everest rabbit hole while I was enjoying some mind-altering substances, and it was. So I saw one where it was like an avalanche, and so I guess they're taught to just hunker down, right? So they just basically dig in and turn their back and wait, but because I guess it's just a fucking I don't know the logic behind it, honestly.
You want to be a ball, so if you get covered, you have enough air to breathe until someone can hopefully dig you out.
Create yourself a pocket. But yeah, either way. So, but there was one girl who was she was screaming because I feel like that's a natural visceral reaction to watching multiple bodies on both sides of you careen down Mount Everest, along with a couple tons of snow. You know what I mean? She was like, ah, 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 and then they were like, get your ass down, bitch. And she was like, oh shit. And then she covered herself. But you just saw bodies on both sides just tumbling. And it was fucking crazy.
Well, my point to this is, do you think this will eventually get to a point where if what you said happened actually happened, they got a little overambitious and they're stuck inside the wreckage, that they then 10 years from now become a part of the attraction? Mm-hmm. People are sending people down there and be like, hey, look, this is a couple of people who got outdid their britches and went inside. Look at it. Look at that little submarine inside the Titanic wreckage.
Yes, I do. But also, think of it this way. So, fucking, when's the first time fucking Everest was summited? Hold on, give me a second.
I know. I think it was Admiral Byrd is the first guy given credit for it. And he died on his way back down, and they found his body.
Edmund Hillary.
And
his fucking Sherpa, Tenzing Norgay, completed the first confirmed descent of Mount Everest on May 29, 1953.
Okay.
Titanic sunk in 1912.
Yeah.
You know, 3 guys named Chad that have tried fucking Everest. We all do. We all know 3 guys named Chad who have tried Everest at least once.
It's even better than
we have
6 degrees
literally never fucking see no, everybody's gotten to the wreckage and been like, nope, we can't really do anything else. It's there. We see it. But you can't do shit. It's crumbling. It's fucking, it takes hours to get down there. It's fucking pitch black. It's cold as fuck. You're never going to be able to do anything with the Titanic because of the conditions that it's in. Humans have pretty much already we got fucking extra humans on Everest, dead, just falling down in avalanches. Humans have conquered Everest.
Dude, they're not even falling, but the ones that die, they're the ones that don't take oxygen, and then they're just walking back and I'm going to sit down now, I'm sleepy. It's sayonara, Chuck.
Well, not even that. There's people who get it's not even all the way sometimes back down. There's crazy shit that I've seen, but to second that, fucking, I don't know what happened, and this one video was just very eerie. The bodies falling was that's crazy, but it's entertaining as well. But it was a guy basically with his GoPro, and they were, I guess there's at a place, it's called Hillary something. It's where Edmund Hillary, it's almost to the peak. They're right there. You can see it. And fucking, it's a guy, kind of making his way along this edge, and he looks over to his buddy, and his buddy points down. He's because there's the edge that he's on, there's a little ledge underneath of him, so he can't really see what's underneath. And there's a guy who I guess tried to avoid something, a storm or a fucking avalanche, and tucked into this little alcove and just died. And so he's literally just chilling right there, and the dude just looks down and you just see a whole human body frozen for however long. He's just like, oh shit, all right, let's just keep fucking going. Like, this is still a good idea. It's insanity. But yeah, man, that fucking Everest is wild. That shit's crazy.
And also, it's become a bit. They just dump oxygen tanks all over the place. It's fucking the mountainside's littered.
Yeah, the mountain is like a trash heap now because humans.
But what I will say about the submarine adventure to the Titanic, though, is like, look, people are like kind of mocking these guys, but I mean, look, adventure is risky. I feel like in the modern era, we feel like everything's like nerfed up and safe. You know, you see people going to space like for funsies and shit. One of the guys from Dude Perfect, you know, the guys who make all the trick shots. One of those guys, like they raised money and he took the Blue Origin thing up there, the Jeff Bezos thing, and I'm like, the guy who makes trick shots, like shoots a basketball off the Hoover Dam, you know, that guy's going to space now. Why? Because he got 10 million views on fucking YouTube. But if you really want to be, an adventurer, there's going to be some risk. Think about the guys who went to Antarctica, like literally just sailed wooden ships to Antarctica because it was there. But because they,
man, like those ships,
and because they went there, though, technologies and things of that nature, really, because the next guy wanted to do it faster, better, more perfect, and that's where we are.
I think there's something like the first guy who either made it or tried to make it to one of the first successful missions to the North Pole. The ship just froze, so they just got out and started walking.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're walking. Put your boots on, boys. Well, the boots probably were on, but put your thongs on, boys. We're getting out of here. So, yeah, I understand what you're saying. I agree. Yes, with adventure like this comes risk. Christ, I mean, it hasn't happened in quite some time, but during our lifetime, and for some of us, you know, where you have a vivid memory of. I don't know, Murr, do you remember the Challenger blowing up?
I absolutely remember watching them lug that 4,000-pound television set between two classrooms so that we could watch a tragedy unfold before us.
Yep. Jesus Christ!
Wow.
Yeah,
that was a great way to say that.
Yeah, I was like in first grade, man. I think they brought first grade and kindergarten together between two classrooms and wheeled that giant-ass brown TV in.
That's how long ago it was. They had to merge classrooms because that's how many television sets they had.
You're 100% correct. And so, well, think about it.
Was it still encased in like an ornate wooden fucking structure?
That's what's hilarious about it. It was actually like, it was a metal facade, but yes, they made it wood grain pattern because that's what most TVs look like.
It's like your parents' TV when they bought it like fucking Montgomery Ward in fucking like 1980,
and then bungee corded it to a 4-foot fucking rolling cart,
a fucking dolly, just a dolly.
Something that the was it the transparent overhead projector went on. They just took that off.
Had to fix the fucking antenna on
but
it.
The TV weighed so much that a very sturdy cart became rickety upon placement of the television set.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had, so kindergarten through 5th grade, so that's 6 grades. They had 3 TVs. First and second watched it. Third and fourth, and I guess maybe the 5th graders got their own. But yeah, and then we're like, I remember being that young, like 7, and just being like, I don't think that's what it looks like, because I had seen a bunch of shuttle launches up to that point in my life, and like once I saw like that big puff of smoke, and then whee, like they're not supposed to, and they instantly went like, okay, kids, and they turned the TV off and were like, we're gonna talk about this tomorrow, but let's go back to our seats, and that was it.
Jesus.
Yeah, and it was like then you probably got what do they call it? The color graded lines. You know, like but they're like the green, the pink,
the
tone,
test tone.
Test tone line, and then it cut to Rocky 4. I must break you. If he dies. Wow.
And that comes back to sort of this thing, right? Like, Krista McCullough was a school teacher, and they were really trying to get kids pumped about science. We're going to send one of your teachers to space. And
then, out of 6 million contestants, she won. God.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it in such a joking manner, but that's just one of the times you wish you didn't win the lottery.
She would have been a celebrity forever.
That's a good point.
And then by the end of the week, all the tasteless jokes started rolling around. Like, how do you know Kristen McCullough had dandruff? They found her Head and Shoulders. Ba-dum. Splash down.
All right, well, folks, we hope and pray that these men and women will make it. I don't know. How many passengers was it? 4 or 5, 6?
5.
Well, just sit right back and hear a tale of a fateful trip.
I'm just looking at them in this, like, have you guys seen it, like, the inside of it?
Yeah, it's just a tube, man.
It's just a fucking tube, bro. Like, you're sitting inside, like, imagine yourself as a wee lad, 5 or 6 years old, with your buddy inside of, like, a fully enclosed slide. Or, like, do you remember those old playhouses, like old Chuck E. Cheese's and shit, where you could fucking climb through tubes?
Yeah.
It's just that, but for adults. That's it.
I see
fucking
this.
it. This shit blows my mind. I'm sorry.
So what do you think?
Move on.
This is what I was going to ask this. You say it takes, 6 hours to submerge, right?
Yeah, I think that's what I've read and heard before. It takes like 6 hours to get from like surface to Titanic.
And then you can't come back up abruptly, right? You have to. There's a period where you're.
Yeah, you've got to fucking ascend at a certain pace. Yes.
and then coming back up. But anyway,
unless you've got some kind of pressurization shit, and I'm sure this fucking Chuck E. Cheese tube doesn't have one.
But you figure 6 hours. Everyone was like, all right, make sure everyone packs a little travel kit with some snacks. This is going to be a long ride. And then we got down and be like, ooh, so what do we got for snacks? Tuna sandwich, crackers, Ritz crackers.
I'd be furious at the person that brought it's like somebody who microwaves salmon in the lunchroom. You know what I mean? Like, you fucking why?
Puts it on a cracker with some capers.
Yeah. I don't care about your diet. God damn it.
I just think of the irony, though, of like the unsinkable ship that obviously sunk, and then like a sinkable ship that can't come back. It's just one goes down, one goes up, one goes up, one doesn't come down. It's just I don't know. Either way, the Netflix special is going to be amazing, and it's just the ending will either have very inspirational music or very tragic music.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Speaking of makeshift tools, BuzzFeed created a list. Secretly, it doesn't give the amount of people who took this poll, but it came up with what's something you silently judge for people. So basically, you are a silent judge or critic about actions or peccadillos or habits or just things that people do that piss you off. Now, I've read this, and I also want to keep in mind there's some of these that I'm open judge for. So I think that's a good baseline for us. That's something we should be able to assess these and then dive into or just move on to. Do you secretly judge or do you judge openly? Do we just, without further ado, get started?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. The attention seekers on Facebook. Now, let me preface this with the fact that we will get a little repetitive with the social media kind of quirks and things that piss most people off, at least myself. The attention seekers on Facebook that post things like a hospital wristband and caption it, well, that was crazy, and just watch the comments pour in.
Yeah. I mean, that's hard to like say that you secretly mock them. I mean,
I mock them outwardly.
Yeah, I mock them outwardly, and I don't comment because I know that's what they want. And but man, I got to admit though, it kind of works because I'll kind of like secretly stalk their page until they finally tell the fucking story. And then I get mad if it's lame though. I mean, if they come back and like, just got back from a trip to the Titanic, like I'm like, fuck yeah, let's see that. That was a good tease. Ooh, good payoff.
It's good. Yeah.
If it's someone that I kind of know, I think I'd leave a comment on there that said, "Would you finally break out the 18-inch dildo? Did you break that puppy out?" Seems crazy. Number 2, giving a sentimental gift to someone and then recording their emotional response. So you're dipping your toe in that social media kind of realm. But
wait, what was that last one? Sorry.
Giving a sentimental gift to someone, then recording, probably likely with your phone, their emotional response.
Like, the ones that come to mind for me are like, my dad had to sell his 1972 Barracuda to raise a family, and now he's 94 years old. But guess what I found? His 1972 Barracuda. It was sitting in a junkyard. I paid $74,000 to have it restored. And here's his reaction. I still get sucked in, though.
Puma prayers.
They can't drive it. Yeah. I mean, I outwardly judge, but like, I feel like those aren't even that common. At least not on my timeline.
Yeah, well, yeah, we all have different timelines, but I do judge them, but I guess I do judge them secretly because like I like watching the videos though, and sometimes I feel like when I see something like that, it does make me want to do something like wildly kind for someone for no reason. No.
Nah, I disagree.
Parents who let their kids roam around and destroy things in stores and restaurants.
Yeah, hate kids just in general. So
I want to fucking forearm shiver them, and it almost makes like it almost cheapens it when people say like how well behaved my son is, because it's like no, he's not that well behaved. He's just normal.
You don't live with him.
Well, not just that, no, but like this is just how normal kids act. They like if we go to a restaurant, he's right as rain, dude. He's respectful to the fucking wait staff. He doesn't fucking, like, throw food at anybody. Yeah. And then I see that parent, and I'm like, fuck you for me trying so hard. If I knew that you could just get away with all this kid'd be more of an asshole than he already is.
But you do know that you can. You're just a decent human being.
Yeah, I guess I just don't want to feel people's scorn. I guess that's what it is. It should be.
I would trip your child. Not just yours, anyone's, but like, generally speaking.
Pull a Paul from Tommy Boy when the kid's like, nah, poosh.
Yeah,
busting.
Exactly. Correct.
Then throws the empty milk carton in the baby stroller. Yeah, I certainly secretly judge because the kids just like, I don't know, man.
Nah, I don't secretly judge. Like me and Kelly will talk loud about how your kids suck, especially if we're in like a brewery or like anywhere that I deem to be more adult than family.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, look at these shithead ass kids, and people are like, "Oh, are you talking about yeah, I'm talking about those two shitheads running around being shitheads."
This is also a Tom Segura bit, but if I do hear like a baby cry at a movie they shouldn't be at, like the first word out of my mouth audibly is "Really?"
Yeah.
Like they shouldn't be here fucking anyway, and neither should you. That's what babysitters are for, or sucking it up and seeing it on fucking Netflix.
Yeah, that's I think one time I was pretty open was at the Baseball Hall of Fame. It was the last time I was up. It was Ripken got inducted, and these kids were. It was like they were decked out in their fucking little league outfits, uniforms, which was fucking stupid anyway, tacky as shit. And not just the tops too. Like they had their like the baseball pants on, and they obviously weren't coming from or going to playing baseball, and like sitting there like with their grubby fingers all over these display cases. Now, again, that's why display cases are there to preserve these, artifacts of the game, something like that they enjoy. But yeah, these two kids were just like, and I was like, get your hands off, man. Like, I'm going to tell my dad. And I was like, tell your fucking dad. I'll smash his face into it and rub his fucking cheek all over it and clean your prints off the damn thing. I was like 25 then too. I was like, yeah, get him over here. I'll throw him right through this fucking Brooks Robinson display.
Keep it up, and Ty Cobb's going to get one more hit.
This one's actually really good. I think this is one that I 100% secretly judge. What people name their kids.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Especially more than because does it ever? It seems as though in the last 15 years, it's gotten people have to do something. White people especially have to do something with a little bit of flair, like Thaxton or Clandon.
Like, I'm gonna say you're absolutely
Tellinson.
Right. And I'm also gonna fucking caveat it with like the same preposterousness that like the same general fucking like racism towards black names that like the 90s brought, like LaQuisha and you know what I mean, like all of those shits, like Shanae from Martin and all that shit, like white people have reached that point in their fucking evolution. They're ridiculous. You're naming them after fruits and shit. Like, it's ridiculous.
Peter wasn't good enough for you. You had to go with Pedersen.
Here's what I found. Maybe this is an observation. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Maybe it's in my head. I do feel like what you guys are saying about white people naming their kids like random shit now it's a thing. But I also feel like the African American community is now naming their kids like white people names, but they're changing the spelling. They're changing the spelling though.
That is true.
Like Andrew Jones. It's like, it's fucking Andrew. You just don't want to fucking call him Andrew because that's too white.
1998.
I'm just saying that's
he was 21 then too.
I feel like it's where it began. I feel like that's where it began though. It's like like Katie, but they spell it with like a C instead of a K. Like it's got to have like that unique flair to it. Don't make your kids' names unique. Let their personalities speak for their.
You're just getting mad about that's just style, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's like wiping your ass.
That's
wiping
not
your ass with soap.
calling your son Thaxton. That's the same shit with a little swag on it, not whatever the fuck Thaxton is.
Yeah, it's like oh well, his uncle's name is Theodore, and his great grandfather's last name is Paxton, so we combined them. It's a very sentimental name to the entire family.
Well, I think for me,
Thaxton.
like the analogy I made with fucking like the old being like, why are there so many syllables in these black people's names? Like now it's the same shit. Like why is Kaylee 12 letters? Like why? You know what I'm saying? Like why is shit like happening? Why is Brooklyn fucking 15 letters? Like it shouldn't be that way. It also shouldn't be a person's name.
Should we create a government czar who like, what do you want their name to be? And then you say it, and then that guy spells it, and then that's the law.
That's how you get it. Yes.
Yeah, that sounds
Kaylee, Kaylee, done. Like no, done. I wanted an EI and a GH in there. Nope. Get the fuck out.
You picked the name. This is it. Go.
There's a mutual friend of ours, Donnie, who has been on the show. Actually, he gave a review of DDP Yoga. Remember, this is before we had you on. And he has I know he is a uncle to at a minimum 2. I think it's 3. But he went to one of their birthday parties, and he's like, "Wow, man, there wasn't a Michael or a Matthew or an Eric or a Keith or a Doug or a Peter in the bunch. It was all like someone named their kid Teller."
Yeah.
Like the fucking magician.
Yeah. Yeah, Teller.
Paxton.
Like it's just like what
Maddox.
is that doing? Like Maddox. I'd punch someone. I'd punch the kid first and be like, "Go find your father."
That's like you go by your middle name. That's what I'd ask.
Is that your middle? Is that what that is?
It's like Michael Maddox, and you got a bunch of Mikes in your family. You're trying to be unique. No, it's the first name. So this is actually at first when I first read this is number 5. By the way, we got 15. Well, the first time I read this, I didn't think it was worth it. But then as you go on, the context starts to build up in the story. It becomes hilarious. Hygiene. I had a coworker who pinched a loaf off in the stall next to mine. Our bathroom only has 2 stalls. It smelled terrible. When she finished, she left without washing her hands and went straight to the break room fridge. She started touching and moving things around. From then on, I never put my food in the fridge. I always inserted it in a plastic bag. Fuck that shit. Yes, hygiene is fucking disgusting. But my point to that is the first time I read that, I was like, yeah, dude, this guy definitely stinks. This guy's definitely terrible. No, it was her. She was pinching a loaf that stunk the bathroom up.
Well, I mean, I feel like women take better shits than we do. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Wholesome, healthier, getting rid of the pollution.
As a dude, I've taken some of the gnarliest shits imaginable, just like all of us have, right? But then in the last 2-3 years, I've been eating a lot better, normal stuff, that's not processed or anything. And I some days I know I don't even have to wipe, but I do because I'm just like, I gotta check. Through the other 40 years of experience, I should really check this out real quick before I pull these up. But honestly, over the last 2 years, I probably don't even need to like waste any toilet paper on it. So I'm wondering if because it's a female, she's just like, nope, that one felt good. No need to touch anything.
Felt clean.
Mm.
Cut it.
That was an absolutely perfect double tapered shit that left nothing. No,
sliced it right up.
It was like the end of a cigar that I'm about to smoke.
It's like if you ever seen a deli cut salami, it's like that. It was like a bit of
yeah. The blade had no remnants of salami on it.
Nope. It was fucking clean.
Because,
You're gonna throw a turkey in there, wouldn't have tasted like salami at all.
There was an article that Cheryl Crow wrote like 10 years ago saying how like we could really like about conservation. She's like, if everybody would only use 2 squares of toilet paper. And I remember being like, 2 squares? Like, what are you even wiping with
that?
Yeah. Like, how does that? And then now, again, that I've changed my diet, I understand how that's a possibility in Cheryl Crow's world. But
yeah.
So I wonder,
nutritionist or something. Yeah.
So I wonder. Anyway, point is, if you shit, wash your hands. If you pee, wash your hands. If you don't feel like you need to, just turn the water on for about 5 seconds so everybody thinks you washed your hands, and then leave, and then you don't get judgment.
Yeah. Alan, this one may ring true to yourself, given that you were at a work function this evening. If they can't turn off the corporate jargon in a casual setting.
Oh yeah. That gets me.
But shouldn't they be using it? It like, okay, you were at a networking function. Like, shouldn't they be using it at a network function, or should they turn it off there too?
No, you should turn it off because the point of the networking is to like make friends. It's not like it is ultimately to get business. See, like that's the thing I think that like a lot of people don't like. Like a lot of people outside of sales are like, look at those motherfuckers. They're just going and having drinks and fucking eating hors d'oeuvres. And it's like, yeah, but I'm also awkwardly meeting people and slowly making friends with them over like years so that they'll pay me $1 million to do this project. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like it is super fun, but it's also like take your guard down a little bit and like just be a person and be a friends with these people because people do business with people they're friends with, not just random fucking persons, especially in Baltimore.
Yeah. I also think that there also is, and you guys may agree with me, maybe you don't, I don't know, I'll ask. I think that there's a definitive line about poking fun of things that happen about the workplace, trying to create humor within the social situation, but you're not talking about work. Mm-hmm. You know, you're talking about this chick who blows the bathroom up and doesn't wash her hands.
You don't got to contextualize it to the 13th floor. Like, you just be like, oh, I used to work with this broad.
Yeah.
I used to fucking drop some humdingers.
Yeah. Well, I can remember going to like radio conferencey stuff and people like just wanted to talk about radio stuff. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I do this all day. Like, I don't need to know about some guy who worked. Oh, well, Billy worked on the air back in 1955, and then his son took over the station. It's like, do you remember the call letters? Like, no, I don't fucking know what you're talking about. I'd rather talk about the Orioles game or something else.
Was it WNBC? Was it that?
There'd be a little business sprinkled in, but it's like, get to know. And like, I don't know, certain events are certain ways, right? Like, this evening's event was an event for an electrical contractor who's like a little bit newer to Baltimore City, but they're massive, and they've just opened an office in Baltimore City. They had Nick Mosby, the president of the fucking city council, there to give them some award for opening this office in Baltimore. But like, yeah, it was this thing, but it was intimate. Like they brought in like the contractors they work with, the people that they work with, some city officials and shit like that. So it was very small. And like, so really there was a little business talk, but it was mostly like seeing people that you kind of knew from other places. Like I saw a property manager and chatted with her for like 30 minutes and then went over and hung out with my work colleagues, got myself a mini cheesecake, came back over, saw this other person, talked about a project for like 10 minutes and then walked away and got an old fashioned, you know what I mean? Like, It's just, you got to let your guard down a little bit. like that's how people do business.
You know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to spread a foul rumor and say, because my workplace does have 2 stalls. Well, they have 2 men's bathrooms. One is just a single. It's single. One has 2 stalls. I'm going to say someone took a dump in there, and then didn't wash their hands. And say I couldn't get a look at the shoes. You know, God, they creeped out of here. And then just maybe like have like discreet details, right?
Like,
it's
look,
like they
I
stopped
was in there and somebody dropped one.
Yeah,
and then left.
It's
water running.
It sounded like a Pearl Harbor bombing.
And then next week, Dave's gonna get fired, and you're gonna know why.
Gulp. This is again lumping more into social media. So, but I'll say it anyway. People crying in front of the camera and posting it on social media. And me and Murr discussed a little bit of the differences on this. This wouldn't be someone who's telling a dramatic story in their life and trying to hold it together and tearing up. This is someone like, I couldn't believe Tom broke up with me for the 7th time and cheated on me again.
I'm pretty sure, depending on the person, I have absolutely commented on things like that and been like, sucks to suck. Something fucking ridiculous. So, yeah, no, I'll judge the shit out of you. Don't be crying on social media, weirdo. Give that to yourself.
Bad driving, no turn signal, tailgating, treating drive like a race. I mean, I don't secretly fucking judge.
Yeah, we know you don't secretly fucking. No, I don't secretly really either.
I just make fucking like dickish hand gestures to them. I'll give them a golf clap if they don't fucking use their turn signal. Like, oh, thanks for letting me wait for another line of cars, you dick fuck. Because I thought I was gonna get T-boned if I pulled out. Several F words wouldn't come out of my face.
I think if their window's down and my window's down, I think they're gonna hear me. I say, I hope that's convenient.
Such a random.
I do a lot of I like close quarters, kind of just looks like somebody. Like I was trying to come out and somebody like didn't let me out, and I just kind of like I was like right next to them and just kind of was like, motherfucker, like just like looked at him like 3 feet away, like right. You motherfucker.
People who magically don't know what a merge lane is.
Yeah,
things like that. Yeah, people who constantly yell at their kids. Just again, a bit of a parallel with the kids who just do anything they want. But then I guess these people don't actually yell at their kids. These people are like, Kyle, Thaxton, get back here, or else.
The problem I have with these people is that they're bad parents, and in public they want to make it seem like they're not. So they're like they yell at the kids like audibly to say like, look at me, I'm doing all this parenting right now. Look at this parenting that I'm doing. No, if you did the parenting and behind closed doors, then you wouldn't be fucking doing it in public, dickhead. Yeah. So yeah, fuck them.
Thanks.
Yeah, you need to do the old. I'm taking him to an area where no one else can see and beat the living shit out of him and have him come back crying. Now you have to beat the living shit out of him. Maybe one thwat on the ass. I don't think that's child abuse, by the way. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm different. Maybe I'm cut from an old place.
It's a different era. The one that I like to do is I like to grab him right here by the shirt and pull him in nice and close, nose to nose, and I tell him exactly what he's doing wrong, and then I say, "Do you understand?" And he'll go, "Yeah." I'm like, "All right, everything's fine now as long as it doesn't happen again." And then that's how you do it.
Okay. All right. People who cut in lines. Not people who cut lines, but people who cut in lines.
I call them out like openly.
Yeah.
Okay, give me a scenario where an adult is like legit cutting a line.
This happened to me. This is a good one. If you want to call it cutting in line, may not be, standing in line for a bank or McDonald's or I don't know, getting a beer at a baseball game or something like that. A little bit different. Plane lands. And then, the seatbelt sign comes off and everyone gets up. You all know the procedure, right? The first rows go.
You just wait, and it all cascades.
And someone who already had their stuff, who was like next behind us, the two rows. One of the rows that I was in, obviously the row across from us. As soon as like he was waiting for it, he just blitzed off, took off. I was like, oh, that's great. Yeah, there you go. There he goes. There he goes.
See, I'm the guy who's just like, nah, go ahead. Because I know I'm only 30 seconds behind you no matter how fast you get off that fucking plane, bus, whatever it is. And then I look like the hero. And it doesn't even really affect me, and I know that. And I'm a fast walker. I'll make up for it.
Honestly, if you get like right in front of me, I don't give a shit. Like, I'm not paying attention. And I'm an expert, like, join a friend in line.
Ooh,
like,
a chat and cut.
Yeah. Like, I've been called out on it and looked that person in the eye and be like, you're goddamn right I did it, and I'm next, so goodbye. And, like, ended that conversation. And they're like, kudos, man. You did it. Well, you did it. But, like, if I'm, like, 5 back and then you go first, yeah, no, we're going to have a problem. Like,
I got too much shame to pull something like that off.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I wouldn't do it. I would do the chat and cut, like, at any really location. If it was next, I would still do it. But yeah, you can't. There's certain markers where you can't do it. Like, shit. When COVID vaccines were like fucking crack cocaine, like, we were in line for one, and fucking there's all these people in line. We're in fucking Baltimore City. Like, we're like off the Alameda. Like, so it's a mixed crowd of people. And fucking there's a lot of like fucking Hispanic families and black families and white families, and they've got children and they've been waiting in line. And this white lady walks up with 2 kids and kind of makes a fuss to this black man. And fucking he gets her a chair. And he then starts, like, ushering her up to the front of the line. And Kelly was like, hell nah, bitch. Get the fuck in the back of the line. And he was like, she's got kids. And Kelly was like, they got kids, and they got kids, and they got kids. So if she gets to go, they all get to go right now. And he was like, fuck. All right, they all get to come right now then. And we were like, okay then, fine. Yeah. We'll let it slide. And so the lady got to go and jump fucking like 60 people in line, but every single fucking family with kids got to go next. And Kelly literally like was marching up and down this fucking line being like, nah, fuck that shit. We've been waiting here. Fuck that white bitch. And I was like, Kelly, you're white. But Kelly stood up for him and it worked.
You should have done Rudy.
No, right? I was geeking, and I was just waiting for a fucking somebody like a male to say something because I was going to smack the shit out of somebody.
I'm gonna tell my dad. Tell your fucking dad. We got 4 more of these. I want to get through them because some of these I'm not really. How they treat complete strangers out in public, especially how they treat waiters, cashiers, or anyone that they might view as below them. I mean,
oh no, I will judge them too. I will cuss you the fuck out.
Yeah,
like,
I'm more silent.
Treat service people fucking badly, I will fuck you up.
I kind of do that silent because that for me gives me a lot of like comedy ammunition for the rest of the evening. So I really don't call them out unless they're being complete twats, and then I will say something. But yeah, generally speaking, yeah, I mean you already know the cut of that guy's jib. Fuck them.
Yeah. Immediately believing one side of the story just because they heard it first.
No. I don't believe one side of any story.
Well, I was saying you're judging someone who does that, though.
I would.
Yeah.
Wes, you are the king of that, friend. I see our TikTok comments.
Judging those people?
Oh yeah,
sure.
100%.
The sheep I comment on?
You are vocal as it gets. You have actually completely ruined an entire algorithm of a platform that could have been a lot of good comedy, but instead it's a lot of terrible tragedy.
Actually, can I interject here? This is just totally fucking side note, and just because I want fucking Wes to get riled up about something. Fucking, I found a new avenue of 9/11 truthers that you should fucking go to.
Come on.
It's literally any fucking Golf Digest, PGA, any like major golf news outlet that posts anything about Live and fucking the PGA. If you visit that comment section, boy, like somebody will be like, "Hey, the Saudis did 9/11. I can't believe we would do business with them. And the very first comment is, ha, it's funny that you think the Saudis did 9/11. What? Do you not know about the U.S. government? Look it up. Educate yourself. And then it just starts. So there you go. You're welcome.
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that one.
Yeah. Get in there.
Break my phone out now. Thank you. Last two, as you play your music without headphones, I mean, it depends upon if you're just driving by on your bike, I don't mind. But if you're, I don't know, if you're on a L or subway or something like that, that's kind of fucking busted.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah, I won't say anything because I'm a pussy, but I'm definitely judging the shit out of you. So I guess I just silent judging.
I probably won't say anything because I'll just put headphones in.
Yeah, especially if you playing if you feel like playing Tribe Called Quest and like, yeah, turn that up, turn it up. Lastly, not cleaning up after your dog. Yep.
Well, that's what writes you a nice note.
Right, the greater Pigtown, Baltimore area, 12 strongly worded printed letters that says you are what you won't pick up. You pieces of fucking... All right, come on, Fun Fact Friday. Let's go.
All right, let's get to it. Let's expand our minds with 5 fun facts for you fuckers on a Friday. Brought to you, of course, by our great friends over at the Shin Splints Recovery Group and our new friends over at Flat Earth Science Advocates for Truth. Now, here's the question, though. If the Earth was round, would the Titanic sub be found? Or would it be easier to be found if it's flat? What say you?
What do they... I mean, they don't disbelieve in the depths of the ocean, right? They just believe that it's kind of like the bottom of the pool.
You know
that
what?
pool just happens to be bigger.
Yeah, but I would assume that the disk would spin, right? So the ocean's currents would be different. So maybe we should get some flat earth sciencers in there to maybe add to where the wreckage could possibly be, since there could be different currents based on the flat earth science theory.
Sure, I might start taking that question to the fucking flat Earth boards. I feel like that's a grenade that needs lobbed into a fucking crowd of idiots.
How do ocean currents work if there is no globe?
See, the problem is I can't start my Reddit post without being like, "Hey, idiots! how do ocean currents work in your fucking fantasy land?"
And throw, if you really want to break the fault line, pun intended, check this one out. Say, if it's a disc spinning, I remember my CDs getting scratched in my car by getting between the gear shift or the emergency brake, and then throwing it back into the CD player and having it like, bloop, bloop, bloop. Is that kind of the same way? A fault line creates cracks?
Mm-hmm. If it's spinning, yeah. Okay. All right. We need to get on the Advocates for Truth website and
right.
and really pose some very easy to answer questions. But let's get to your mental floss. Amazing facts. Did you know? Thanks to the efforts of activist Opal Lee, who at 89 years old began walking state to state to draw attention to the importance of Juneteenth in 2016, Congress passed legislation making it a federal holiday in 2021. President Biden signed the bill into law on June 17th, 2021. You know what? This, in my lifetime, is probably the greatest holiday that I feel like I've seen passed into law in my lifetime. Because, Juneteenth just passed, and if people don't know this, the reason they call it Juneteenth, so you can quit mocking it, is sometime between June 13th and June 19th, they were able to finally go along and tell, all the slaves and slave owners in, I think Texas, hey, you gotta set these motherfuckers free. They aren't slaves anymore. So it took a week. So they don't know what day it actually happened for certain individuals. So it happened between the 13th and the 19th, therefore Juneteenth. It's a great name for a great holiday. So anybody out there has a problem with it, you can kiss my white balls.
Who did I see? I think I saw... I'm proud of you. That was good. Let me take a second and just... Yeah, good job, buddy.
I'm a compassionate man.
Yeah. I saw a fucking God damn it, it was like a Ben Shapiro or a goddamn Candace. Oh, it was somebody who I hate with a fucking passion. And fucking, they were like, I think they did Juneteenth at this time, right before July 4th, before the greatest unifying, fucking patriotic American holiday of all time, just to piss us off. And it's like, we're all Americans, bud. Like, we like that holiday too. This holiday should be a holiday, though. Like, I was just looked at that, and I was like, really? That's the thought that a white person conceived. They were like, I think they did this on purpose.
It overshadows Proud to Be an American, one of the greatest songs of all time.
Like, you mean to tell me I got to celebrate colors 3 weeks before I celebrate America? That's bullshit. It's outrageous.
How dare we celebrate freedom right before we celebrate freedom? God damn it.
Yeah. Jesus.
Thaxton, get over here. Look in the camera and tell him what I told him to tell you. I love America.
We literally celebrate Labor Day. We have a whole day off because, like, man, we work a lot.
We work.
Yeah.
And those motherfuckers worked a lot without a pension.
Shit, we work a lot without pension. Well,
good point.
Maybe not one of us, but
I know I'm the one with the worst job with the best retirement. It's they're like
eat shit for the good stuff.
Like it's like carrot. Like you want to eat this? Come on now.
I'm sitting over here fucking rolling over 401ks and the fucking IRAs and shit. I'm financial planning over here, bro.
I got a no wipe shit for you hanging out 30 years down the line. Come on, baby.
It's as clean as could be.
It's like a cigar cutter.
Did you know? According to Green's Dictionary of Slang, Master John Goodfellow was a popular slang term for a man's penis in the mid-17th century.
Well, it's also a name for my penis now.
Master John Goodfellow.
Dude, so like 1650s? Like, I mean, hey, that's a good
run. Yeah.
That's a solid slang term.
So you're a master. You have slaves. You're John, which is a common name, and then Goodfella means you're okay. You're a fair guy, you know? You treat people with respect. Master John Goodfellow.
Imagine old-timey people. Call him Mr. John Goodfellow.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't like to be ignored.
Pour some brandy on it. Pour a couple out for the dead homies.
Watch him jump.
This is actually. Do you guys remember? It was a Real Sex on HBO.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they between segments they would interview people on the streets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chappelle actually had a really good, really good one of those. But a couple of those, like my parents would go to bed and I'd be like all of 13 watching. It's like, ooh, yeah, gonna watch me some R-rated titty tonight. But they would get couples. And yeah, I'd ask them, do you have a name for your penis? Yeah, I do. And like, what is it? And it was always something stupid. Like, yeah, Peter Pan. What about you? Yeah. Oh, Ice Glacier. It's just really never named my dick ever.
No.
But now, Sir hold on, Master John Goodfellow.
Yes, there you go.
There it is. And by the way, Alan, you brought up like the master point, or Wes, you did. Did you know, like, gentleman? The term gentleman, you know, it only means to own your own land.
Yeah.
That's it. You could be a cocksucking son of a bitch, but if you own land, you, sir, are a gentleman.
Yeah. Old-timey white people laid the bar real low for respectability.
A lot of heels in wrestling in the 80s went by gentlemen. Yeah.
Give me landowners.
Give me a good one. Yeah, give me a good one.
Ooh, I can't think of one right now. I think I just made that up. You're absolutely right. Someone told me that and I believed it. It was the first thing I heard.
Shit. Did you know the term solstice is derived from the Latin words sol, meaning sun, and sisterus, meaning to stand still. because the sun's relative position in the sky at noon does not appear to change much during the solstice and its surrounding days. The rest of the year, the Earth's tilt on its axis, roughly 23.4 degrees, causes the sun's path in the sky to rise and fall from one day to the next.
Did they give an origin right there? Just like
Latin.
Latin, yeah. It doesn't shock me. I know dick about Latin, but when someone throws one of those terms at me, like, you know what that is Latin for? I'm like, okay, I'm about to get learnt here, and you just learnt me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I thought that was kind of a boring fact because it was juicing me up for this one. Did you know opossums have a lower body temperature than most mammals, which might account for them only rarely contracting rabies? I don't understand how a lower body temperature, like, do ticks and such not go after their, like, are
That's
ticks
Lyme's
like
disease? No, you're talking about rabid animals.
Oh yeah,
ticks
that's a good point. Well, I mean, do rabid animals, do they see like the predator and they just like see heat signatures? Like, what does that have to do with? Like, I wish I knew. This is again, I'm a slave to the facts.
I think this is
no. It drives them like it literally drives them crazy. It's
yeah.
Well, I know what rabies does, but why does that, like, why wouldn't, like, let's say you have a rabid fox and it's like, ooh, what am I going to bite tonight? And then it's like, oh, what is that? Oh, it's an opossum. He's a little cold. I don't want to touch him.
Wait, I thought you
Doesn't
said
make them so that necessarily like they're bitey, but they're aggressive. They get more fearful and like anxiety ridden. So like think about like your dog at the vet or something. You know, I mean, my dog's a fucking dream, but like I've known dogs that need to get put down basically before they get taken to the vet. You know what I mean? It's like shit like that. They just get very fucking aggressive.
Well, no, I think the point of this, I think it's not so much it avoids biting. I think if it's bit, that its cold body temperature then does not like.
It doesn't. It doesn't spread as easily.
Yeah.
That could make sense.
Okay.
Which all is going to chalk me up is that an opossum is such a filthy fucking animal that it has somehow become rabies retardant, which is fucking incredible.
No, I mean I'm fairly certain there are multiple animals that are rabies immune.
Okay.
Dude, you want a cold shiver up your spine? Like some nights I'll sit out on my back deck and I'll just like have a few beers, and then all of a sudden like you'll see like you'll hear something and you'll see these eyes, and then I'll turn my flashlight on and you'll see this possum just lugging along, and that is a freaky creature to see in the middle of the night.
This well, but shit. I actually have a story about a possum, but what I was going to say was I was much like these guys were down looking in the Titanic through a tube. I was looking out my dad's back window of his Astro van, and I saw him hit a rabid raccoon in the head with a metal shovel. And I mean, this was like Hacksaw Jim Duggan hitting fucking Andre the Giant trying to win a match, and it did nothing. It was like it just like looked up at him like. The old man ditched the shovel and ran back in the van. It's like, we gotta go.
Here's my final question about this. The O in opossum, is it silent or is it supposed to be pronounced? Or
I always thought it was, and you said opossum, so I was like, Murr's really fucking smart.
Well, they wrote it that way, so I'm like, I mean, do we just shorten it because like it sounds stupid?
You can just lean into it, you know.
Because usually when I say it in public, I'm just like, possum. I kind of like possum. Make a weird noise right before I say the p.
Alan, what's the correct semantics on this?
I'm fairly certain that they're interchangeable.
Route
like
and route?
I think a possum was like an old timey like variation of it, and then it's since kind of lost. Because we're lazy fucks, and why would we say another syllable instead of just saying possum?
What threw me off there is normally when you see opossum, you see O apostrophe possum, and this didn't have the apostrophe, so I was like, oh, maybe it's legit now.
Maybe we've given future white generations an idea. They could be like, oh, Thomas, and the teacher says, like, oh, no, it's just Thomas. Or you could say, oh, Thomas, it's interchangeable.
And finally, did you know lobsters pee out of their face, specifically from glands located near the antennae? Peeing at other peeing at each other is part of both fighting and courtship. Just like in real life. To woo a dominant male who will have previously spent his time beating up the lobsters in his neighborhood, the female pees pheromone-laced urine into the... I'm sorry, I'm not wearing my glasses, and for some reason, after I've had 4 beers, it becomes harder to read.
P turns into
way,
OP. Yeah.
It ends like this. Lobsters are cannibals, so the pheromone is telling him, quote, "It's time to breed, and don't eat me."
Man. So the male lobster beats the shit out of other male lobsters and pisses all over them.
Yeah.
And then the female's like, "Yeah, I dig your red coat. I dig your you look like a Thaxton." And then pisses on him, and he's like, "Damn, girl, let's make love." And then what? She has like 40,000 fucking kids or something.
Something like that. The first time I ever had this thought, similar to like, oh, that's weird, they piss out their face. Do you remember Star Trek? Oh man, I think it was Star Trek 4, where Spock and Kirk end up on that prison planet, and then
yes,
and then Kirk kicks a guy in the knee, and he goes down hard, and then they're like, well, not everybody has their genitalia in the same place. Like, oh shit, that guy pisses out his knee. Man. That's weird, man.
Then he makes sweet love to David Bowie's wife.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
Oh, yeah.
She was hot.
Yeah, she was. And then she
is hot, I think.
And then she turned into like a rock monster dude. Broke him out.
And she turned into Kirk later on. They couldn't figure out who was who.
That's a good goddamn movie.
Oh.
And that's your Fun Fact Friday.
That's your Fun Fact Friday. And hey, folks, tonight on Before You Go, the College World Series is heating up in Omaha, Nebraska. And every year, a place in Omaha called Rocco's Pizza in Cantalina does what they call a Jell-O shot challenge. Last year, or actually 2 years ago, the great folks of Mississippi, hold on one second, I had it right here. Well, fuck it. Doesn't matter. I'll get to it here in a second. LSU, who's in the loser's bracket right now, set a world record this year by ordering 21,435 Jell-O shots. The rates cost about $30,000. They beat the previous record this is right here, by University of Mississippi, or the Bulldogs set the year before 18,777. So
that's Mississippi State, then, is it?
No. Well, you have Miss Bulldogs and This is Ole Miss.
Ole Miss is the Bulldogs?
No, Ole Miss is the Rebels. Sorry.
Well, either way. So wait,
the Mississippi State's the Bulldogs.
Yeah, but you said the Bulldogs.
So does it matter?
University of Mississippi.
A team previously bought a lot of Jell-O shots, and a new team bought a shit ton more.
That's right. Roughly just shy of $3,000. 3,000 less Jell-O shots, a lot more than $3,000. So yeah, think about this: $30,000 roughly. Wow, I made 1,200 once for a party. Well, not me and 3 other people. And I have my own thoughts on remnants of fucking Dixie cups and cigarette butts put out and said Dixie cups that I found 3 months later in the smallest crevices of my house. But 21,000 fucking Jell-O shots.
What a dumb fucking thing.
It's
the dumbest thing ever.
I thought for damn sure you'd be like America.
No.
Red, white, and blue.
No.
Omaha, Nebraska. College World Series.
What are the ingredients of a Jell-O shot?
Jell-O and booze.
Jell-O, water. Well, you do half the amount of water you're going to do is booze. So if you and then the powder mix, and then you mix it together and you freeze it.
I mean, that's just a lot of work for something stupid. And I mean, if I'm a bar, I'm going to say, I'm accepting this $30,000. Hey, Cheech and Jimmy, I want you guys to become best friends for 3 days and fucking get these things ready. I mean, yeah, I get it. But it's the dumbest thing ever. Why not just do vodka shots? Anything, any other shot. That's the most complicated, time-consuming shot that you could possibly do. And this bar knows every year, go get the gelatin, boys. We got shots coming up this weekend. Like, it's just dumb. It's
And
dumb.
they're so gross.
Yeah.
But it's, at this point, well, they do gelatin. They do the shot color based upon the schools that they think can have in town. So I certainly think that they have like a like a infinity stone type thing going on. You got your purple, you got your yellow, you got your red, you got all the spectrum of shots. But you were saying go get the Jello or go get the gelatin, right?
Yeah, this is not Jello. You know, it's not Jello. It's yellow. It's Grello. It's something else.
And if that's the case, they ain't going to a Target or a Costco. They're bringing in the fucking cement truck.
Yeah,
And they're going to dumping it in the back.
And all it's going to be is like animal hooves and like ligaments that have been ground up. It ain't going to be like the good stuff. It's going to be gnarly. It's not going to be fun.
Maybe that's the trick. There's no booze in it. You're just getting fucking ground animal hooves, as you called it.
It's a good point. I mean, it could just be that, but no, like I'm sure they sat back and like they got a vat in the back and they just, whatever, man. Jello shots are fun. It's just, I remember having one. I've had literally one Jello shot in my entire life because I was like, oh, this is going to be amazing. It's going to be like Jello and I'm going to get drunk. And I'm like, oh, God. Oh, it's the worst Jello I've ever had in my life. Why would anybody want this? Why wouldn't I just drink regular shots to get drunk? This is stupid.
Yeah, well, it is a bit of a novelty thing. I'll give you that. But, hey, man, America, we can do what we want. Go to Omaha. Check it out. College World Series, man. Why did you get a pick like your googly eyes when I said, your googly eyes when I said I made 1,200 once?
Because that's a lot.
We cleared out both fridges of all of our food, perishable, non-perishable, it didn't matter. The fraternity will buy more, and did cardboard liners. So you stack some cardboard, stack some cardboard, stack some cardboard, and we did about 1,200. And here's what I was going to get at this is that these people are consuming, let's see here, maybe roughly like 12 to 14 times what we did, give or take. And I was with my buddies. We had skipped a house when we went to my house with like 6 or 7 people. And we were like, yeah, let's do a bunch of Jello shots. And we each did like 6 or 7 each. And they're like, what do we do with the Dixie cups? I was like, hey, fuck it, just throw it over your shoulder. Throw them over. Well, every fucking Jello person that did a Jello shot did that night. And I had like wade through them. It was like 2 inches worth of fucking Dixie cups in my basement.
Look at all that waste. Yeah. All that waste. It's just, it's not, the juice ain't worth the squeeze, man.
And there's always Jello remnants in the cup. They don't come out clean.
Yeah.
So you're wasting Jello and booze, technically.
Yeah, and someone would always put like 1 in 10 had a cigarette butt put out in it.
Yeah, but you could give them away to free to bitches, and they loved it.
That's true.
Or, sorry, ladies.
There's that.
ain't no lady taking a Jello shot.
Well, congratulations to the LSU Tigers. You're in the losers bracket, but I know you got a really good baseball team, and you got some very non-diabetic fan base, apparently. So, Alan, tell all the Jello shooters and the Othaxtons and potential returners of a subatomic Titanic voyage where you can find the middle class holes.
Subatomic. Okay.
You can find us at the bottom of the sea. You can find us on all your favorite social media platforms. We're at MDO Classholes on Instagram and Twitter, maybe? I don't know. We're the Middle Class Holes on Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. And, of course, for your listening pleasures, please check us out on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
Beautiful. Tonight on social media comments, we only have 2. One was from a good, bad movie listener submission. So this is from a long, long time ago. Submission. That's it. The movie was so bad it put us in a submission move.
Got it.
The mind figure 4. Armageddon was the movie. Carson Peterson comments, good mad movie is still saying it's bad regardless, but is Armageddon even that?
Is it bad?
So good bad movie is still saying it's bad regardless, but is Armageddon even that? meaning. So I thought that. And listen, that's a copy and paste. So I think it's a question.
Armageddon. I can solve all this without even worrying about the semantics. Armageddon's a good movie. I don't give a shit what anybody out there says. Armageddon's a good movie. Any movie that is cheesy, stupid, dumb, has Steve Buscemi in it as a co-star, and makes me cry, that's a good goddamn movie. I will fucking cry every goddamn time fucking Bruce Willis fucking pushes Ben Affleck off and says, he's going down there. That's a good goddamn movie. I don't give a shit how terrible and trash the rest of the film is. If that one minuscule scene can start to make these eyes moisten up, that's a good flick.
Well, there you go. Fucking commenter.
Yeah. Have you seen there it's a small bit, it's like a director's cut, but it's not. I mean, it's like 15, 20 minutes worth of extra stuff, and then the director and producer commenting on it. Have you seen that, Murr?
No.
So the key scene is when Willis, he tricks Ben Affleck, goes down the elevator, and it's, tell my daughter I love her, and then he pushes the button. He's like, I must break you. Such a great line. Can't imagine why they omitted that from the final cut. Finally, it's on Fly the Coop. This was on TikTok. Do you remember this is the fact where you had said not very often people move far away from their parents or where they grew up. It's a mile, less than a mile, 2 miles, or 20 miles an hour or whatever. Javon Kitts comments, oh, you mean people like to live near friends and family and not just root up and transplant to a completely new area for no reason? Weird. I haven't commented on that, but I was about to say, hey, my man was reading from a fucking fun fact calendar, and we're just commenting on it.
What did he say?
He just basically
you mean basically go people don't move that far from where they grew up because of family and friends? Well, weird.
Yeah, it's just we live in I think a lot of people who live in cities, especially. We know some people who live in cities. They don't live anywhere near their friends and family. I think we think the world's so much close knit than it once was, but you realize pretty quickly that geographically you don't want to make that trip all the time to go see your friends and family. So I think a lot of people that live far away from their parents, friends, and family think that's a normal thing. Whereas the reality is it's still just as close-knit as it ever was because we're fucking genetically built to be that way. Yeah. You dick bag.
Close
bag of dicks.
Shut up, idiot. Commenter.
Yeah.
Fucking dummy.
Close-knit. Speaking of makeshift tools, let me tell you. That's what I was supposed to say, right? When we signed off the show?
Yeah, this is perfect. You nailed it.
Perfect timing, Wes.
Nailed it with a hammer. Yeah. That's a tool anyone could fucking use.
God damn it. You simultaneously ruined the beginning of the show and my story. So thank you for that.
I'm sorry, man. Juneteenth. It was a lot of fun. All right. Good night, everybody.